Why it doesn't work? Okay.
Okay, welcome everyone. I'm going to turn it back to Eleanora with the tour of Ellis Island. So I don't know why, but I'm seeing Nina. What are you guys seeing?
You.
Seeing me, huh?
Just you, Nick.
I'm seeing everyone in the grid.
I see everybody in the gallery.
That's what I see.
Eleanora, it looks like she's trying to talk to us.
Frozen.
She's frozen.
We're back to the gallery view.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because Eleanora's screen is black for me.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yes.
Well,
I think she just
So
dropped
it
out.
So it was a shock
Huh.
for them because they have to leave, and do not there is a nice screen. Changed. Going back.
I'm getting a message saying that your bandwidth is low and a frozen image.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Immediately.
Okay, it seems to be a stupid thing, but on the top of this staircase, there were all the doctors around looking them and observing them. So if there were people with the difficulties in walking or with illnesses or problems at the back,
Eleanor, we're having a really hard time hearing you, so I think I'm going to move on with the agenda.
Yeah, maybe she can video it.
Yeah, maybe just take a video and then we'll look at it later. Because we're having a hard time. It freezes up every 30 seconds or so to the point where we can't hear anything. So remove spotlight. Okay, so it's all right. It's all right. So welcome to the good old US of A. And so we have a group of 17 at this point. I want to welcome everybody. I sent out an agenda, and Bob Hughes has offered
a good
to,
connection.
Bob Hughes
So,
has offered to Eleanora.
the first
I'm gonna,
Maybe she mute her.
yeah. I
Or
can't seem to
they
mute
get
it for
to
some reason. Oh, there we go.
stand up and wait. Mhm.
She may not know that we're having trouble. She may not have got your message, Nick, that
Yeah.
Yeah.
can't hear her.
right.
If somebody wants to type that into the chat log for her, that would be great. So she says, I hear you. Eleanor, we can't hear you very well, and we can't see your pictures very well. So we're going to talk about something else. So Bob, do you want to go ahead and share your screen?
Oh, okay, hold on. Let's see, let me find it. Okay, well, I was just gonna give a quick little demo, just maybe 10 minutes on fixing up a photo. One of the software that I use is Photoshop Elements. You probably, as most of you, if not all of you, have heard of Photoshop for photographers to use to fix pictures. Photoshop is $239. So most of the guys that I was in a camera club with would get Photoshop Elements because it was only $99, and it had a lot of the features, excuse me, of the main Photoshop. But I've opened up Photoshop Elements here, and I'm going to bring in an image, and I'm just going to demonstrate one of the tools. If you look over here on the left, you can see there's a myriad of tools that you can use. And you know, I don't have time to explain all those. So I'm just going to demonstrate one of the tools. And when you bring in a picture, if you hit Control plus, you can start blowing up the picture. And you can see that my grandfather, this was a picture of him, and it's got quite a bit of stuff on it. One of the tools you can use is called, let me find it here. Here we go. Called a spot eraser. Or no, that's a straightening tool. What did I do with it? Oh, it's up here. Sorry. Called a healing brush. And there's a couple different ways you can use it. One way that I use it is I've clicked on it here, and I clicked healing brush. There's also spot healing brush. Healing brush. And what you do is you go find a good part of the picture next to what you want to get rid of, the blemish you want to get rid of. And you would go up here and you would hit Alt and click. That grabs this little area of the photo right here. And then when you come down here and click on it, it erases. It puts that over that part. So you can see how it starts to clean up that photo. If I go over here and grab part of his face, start cleaning up that part of the face. So, I mean, you know, I mean, there's a lot of nice photos out there. You know, if you just clean them up, and you can spend this. I mean, when I cleaned up his photo, I probably spent a couple hours on it. This down here, this little button, if you follow my cursor, this sizes that little circle. So we can get rid of a lot of this stuff down here. I can go up to his hat, clean that up. So you see how easy it is to start cleaning up a photo. And then when you get done, you will have something like that.
Can
So
you do his nose?
So I'm not sure if you were trying to show us another picture, but we don't see the other picture. We still see the blue stains.
oh, wait a minute. Okay, hold on. New share. I'm sorry. Do you see the better picture now?
Nope.
No.
No,
All right, let's do this. I'm really a newbie at this.
yeah, you have to stop share and then reshare
Yeah.
the.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Can you
Yeah,
see
that
the-
came out beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was great.
Wow.
So it's a simple step. Once you learn how to use it, it just takes time to, you know,
Do-
go back and forth. And there are a lot of, I mean, if you buy the software, there are, I'm trying to, where can I, I lost it.
So Gary brought up
Okay.
My Heritage, which I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that's pretty, they've got a pretty
Yeah.
cool tool there. It's not, it doesn't do the fine work that Photoshop Elements does, like Bob just showed us. It'll just sort of enhance what is already there.
Or if you just need to blow up a picture.
So we're seeing your YouTube page.
Right, I was just gonna
Photoshop
tell you,
Elements.
if you get the software, there's, you know, you can go out to YouTube and there's all these little tutorials on it.
Uh-huh.
Or you can go to Amazon and there's all kinds of books you can buy.
Hmm.
So, I don't know, I mean, is that good enough, Nick? Is it, you want me to?
I guess it's a taste of what you can do, which is, it's pretty cool. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't want to spend a lot of take up a lot of time, but I mean, it kind of gives you an idea,
Uh-huh.
you know,
If you
just like,
if you really get carried away, you can start doing cosmetics,
yeah,
right?
yeah, that's right.
Get rid of the wrinkles and
Yeah,
start looking good.
put my head on Arnold Schwarzenegger's body.
There you
you know?
go. There you go. Well, not that far.
Okay, I'm going to turn it over to Mary Kay, and she wants to do a screen share with a cautionary tale.
Yeah. So, you know, we've been uploading a lot of the cemetery, the tombstones from Carlentini. And I was kind of inputting, taking one of the photographs from the tombstones that we uploaded, and I was adding it to my tree. And what was interesting, let's see if I can find it. Oh, hold on. Hey! I might have to do this. Let me get over to where I was. Screen share. So I found, I was looking at this headstone. And so I went to, so I was inputting Maria Turco, and I was trying to find where she was on my tree. And I noticed, you know, it's her and her husband, Marino. But then I saw these, can you see the small ones on the side? These appeared to be her children, or so I was inputting this one over here on the right side is Antonio Marino.
Mhm.
And he was born in 1930 and he died in 2001. So I went over to.
Scusate, c'è qualcuno che parla in italiano? Niki, qualcuno che parla in italiano? Io queste signore turco le conosco.
Yeah.
Turco, Marino, questi le conosco. Adesso non ci sono più in questo mondo. Erano lentinesi.
So Nino's telling us that he knows these people.
Oh. Okay.
Ci sono.
Awesome. Well, it turns out, so I assumed, and I was inputting these, I assumed that Antonio
Ci sono
and
parenti.
Giovanni
Niki?
were in Carlentini. But when I went to my tree, and let's see if I have my tree.
Io,
Let me go back.
Niki, qua a Carlentini,
He
ci
says they're
sono
relatives.
parenti.
They're relatives
Ci
of
sono
his.
parenti diretti di queste
Oh.
signore che, di
So I went
questi
to,
defunti.
when I went to my tree, I had Maria and I have Nunzio. Well, it turns out Antonio is their son. And I was getting curious, so I hit search. Well, he didn't die in Carlentini. He's in Connecticut, or he was in Connecticut. So I did some research and I found his obituary saying that it was a very detailed one, saying that he lived in Carlentini until 1979. but his parents or somebody, some relative, put his picture on the parents' tombstone.
Huh.
And I thought that was interesting that I have to be, we have to be careful that with these newer ones, they probably, it's just, I can't blow this. So here's his tombstone
No.
in Connecticut. It's hard, I can't get it bigger. And then if we go back to this one, this person on the left, Giovanni, that's Antonio's son. He also died in America. So they have put these on the tombstones to keep that family connection, but they didn't die or in Carlentini. If I go over to Giovanni. Here's his
The
obituary.
way your screen is displaying, this comes out quite readable, but your actual ancestry pages are really tiny. It's kind of
Okay.
weird.
Well, just one more thing to note on here. The dates, there's a discrepancy between the obituary date. Like this Giovanni, they said he passed away on October 12th, but on the tombstone, it's October 17th is what's listed. I'll see if I can go back. I don't know if I can zoom in anymore. It's really hard to see, and I really had to zoom in.
Yeah, I can see it. For Giovanni, I can see 2012, 17/10/2012.
Yeah, and on the obituary from Connecticut, it said he died on the 12th. So I mean, close. So but that's the grandchildren. So just if you're looking at these, you might want to make sure if they're newer ones, that they were actually born or died in Carlentini. These smaller ones on the side might be kind of add-ons, I would say.
So, did Jean Sterner join us? I don't see her. She said she only had a limited amount of time, but then she was saying that she didn't have the link. So, well, let me tell you a little bit about what's going on with the cemetery. Share my screen. Oh, there's Jean. She's coming in. So I'll not share my screen until she gets here. Okay, Jean, we see you. We see your icon, but we don't see your face.
I'm working on hi.
For DU.
Hello.
Thank you for being patient.
Sure.
I'm out running errands trying to get ready for Friday, so it's been
What's
a little bit of a
happening
hectic
Friday?
day. The gala in Omaha.
Oh,
Yeah.
Don't walk on, only walk on campus.
so
Yeah.
did you want me to talk about Rich Cherry, or did you want to talk about Rich Cherry?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I wanted to know what you found out.
Okay, well, let's do this first. I'm going to show the Carlentini Cemetery page. Can everybody see that okay?
Oh, really? Even more so.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so since we brought up the surname
Yeah.
Rich Cherry, I mean, one of the first things, Jean, I'm going to mute you. There's a little background noise. Okay, so this is the main page for Cimitero di Carlentini, but that means cemetery, of course. And so the first thing is a search box. So we could put Riccieri in there, but let's wait just a minute. So Angela Maynard gave us this picture as kind of a profile picture for the cemetery. You can look at more cemetery profile pictures by clicking this little link, and you'll see the portal as you first walk into the cemetery. And And then if you need directions to get there, they're right here. So this is the about page on the cemetery. And in two places, we see that we have 5,038 memorials. So a memorial is a individual. You can click here and you can view the memorials in alpha order, which you can see that the problem with it because there's a question mark. And so it should be A's here, but because it's a question mark, it goes to the alpha order. You can click on the picture. Can everybody see the picture?
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the next thing to zoom in a little more, you can click down here in the lower right where it says view. And sometimes it comes up with a little zoom icon where you can zoom in even further. But for this particular picture, this is about as good as we can get. And you can see it's number 215 and it's on the wall.
Can you
And it
adjust
says
the contrast
key.
on that?
What's that?
Can you adjust the contrast?
Not at this particular point in time. Now you'd have to go back in and
Okay.
use some other tool to adjust the contrast.
All right.
And my daughter's calling me. I hope it's not important. Oops. And it says key riposa. Here resides or lays, or I'm not quite sure how that exactly translates. But you can see that there's something behind this flower holder here, which we cannot read. So it got transcribed as Trato, Trato. And then clearly it's Sebastiana because this is a female. And Fu Santo, Fu means late. So she is the daughter of the late Santo. She was born in 1900, I guess. And we can't really see the death date all that well. So
She was born in 1900 or the father?
she was.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 is September. You could make that out.
Yeah,
There
so
you
the
go.
death date is 29 September 1958, according to somebody here. I'm not sure. There's no notes as to where that death date came from. So maybe it's from another picture. Let's look at this picture. Yeah, see, you can see it in the, this one, you can see it in the shadow a little bit better. So there, some of these pictures, some of these memorials have multiple pictures on them.
Nick,
So, yes.
I don't know if you can let me share my screen too. I have an adjusted photo. It's a little bit easier to read.
Okay. Yes, please go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. How did you do that? Did you just take a screenshot and enhance it?
Shot and enhanced it.
Uh-huh. Nice. Well done. Okay, so since Jean has limited time, I'm going to take the screen back and I want to just show you the search function on this. If I can get it. Okay, get it back. Okay, so if you ever just want to go back to the home page, look for this little link that just says Cimitero di Carletini, and it'll take you to the home page. So let's see how many Richeris there are in the Carletini Cemetery. So 4 matching records. So now, Gene, you can unmute your microphone and tell me if you recognize any of these names. Gene, are you with us? Do we need to send her a request to unmute?
There we go. There we go. It wouldn't let me unmute. Sorry.
That's all right.
I think it's because you muted me.
She was talking to me for a minute. She was doing this in the store too. She was like,
I don't
Okay,
know.
so
I was like, yes, yeah.
Nothing. I mean,
That was our food. Did you see that?
do any of those mean anything to you?
Mhm.
Well, let's do this. Let's go to
no,
your tree.
none of those. None of those do.
Let's go to your tree and so find you first. And I think I have you in here under Sterner. Yes. Okay, so your direct line, he was in Omaha, so he's not gonna be buried there.
Giuseppe.
So Giuseppe died in
Was-
1925. So let's go back to the cemetery and see if we have that one. I would say the likelihood is probably not too great, which I don't see it. Because most of these, well, I'll show you an interesting search. You can actually search by year died, but instead of doing exact, do a 25 year. So this will give you a count of how many died, let's say in the year 2000. And this will go 25 years forward and 25 years prior. So between 1975 and 2022, we can see how many burials are in the cemetery. So this shows that there's 2,583 of these memorials that are between 1975 and 2022. So what does that tell you? There are like 5,000 memorials at this point, and half of them died between 1975 and the present. So basically what that tells you is most of the old graves are gone. And remember, well, let me do another search and I'll show you where my ancestor is in this cemetery. Oops. So your Giuseppe's probably
Nick,
not in there.
I was told that by the two gentlemen that I met when I was in Carlentini. I was
Yes.
told that most of the family did leave Carlentini and go to Omaha.
Mhm. So, okay, so this is my second great grandfather, and this is where he's buried, which looks pretty grand, right? Well, that's what they call the ossuary or the osario. And so when they clear the graves out, they put the bones in here. So everybody's bones are in the osario. So all of the old graves are here, and the new graves are what you'll find in the cemetery today.
I have a question.
Sure.
When they put the bones in there, I mean, do they like wrap a person in something to keep his bones together, or they just throw them in a pile?
I don't know exactly what the physical process is, so I would just be speculating, Bob.
Okay.
But I think it's like a common grave where I don't know if they pulverize the bones before they throw them in there or what exactly they do, but
A while back, I remember us seeing some documentation that was maybe, I don't know, it was about the cemetery and how it worked. But, you know, that was probably a year ago or so that we were looking at that.
Oh, that's interesting. They just have these bones stacked up.
Oh,
That's
There
the
a number
Paris,
somewhere?
Yeah, that's funny.
that's the Paris Underground, is all the bones that are all stacked up.
Interesting picture, huh?
Yes.
I think of all the
Okay.
ones that I have inputted, the oldest, I think I've only had one from 1920. I think the question is like, what do they do with, if they take apart a grave, do they try to save the picture? Do they store that anywhere? And I don't think we've ever seen that.
I think there was a library or something where they would just archive all that stuff forever.
Well, this essentially is the library at this point, because we now can start, you know, creating biographies and adding them, and we can add additional photos like I've done here. I put his birth record there. You can link to the other family members, and the person that can do this is the memorial manager. So if you want to know who the memorial manager is, you look at the memorial ID and it says view source. So this tells you that I am the manager, that it was created by me. So if you wanted to say it was your relative and you wanted to ask me to transfer the memorial to you, you can email me and request that. So, and the same goes for if you find a grave somewhere else in the world that you want to be the manager of, so that you can add all this biography and pictures and family links. All you got to do is send a request, and usually people will grant them pretty readily.
Nick, do we know about how many memorials there are in the cemetery and how much percentage we have photographed and logged?
That is a good question. Okay, so Nuccio is still in the process of sending pictures. Let's see what Silvana says. Hi, Nick. Unfortunately, I can't attend the meeting tonight because I have just returned home, blah, blah, blah. Oh, she's rehearsing for performance. All right, so let's look at this one here. Photographia genealogica. Okay. So this shows how he's just sending them to us via Facebook message. And I think he did, at one point he did like 280, 268 photos, he says.
That's just today's.
That's just today. Yeah.
We don't have that up on the website yet.
So, I mean, he hasn't really said how much more needs to be done, but he's kind of given us, as he's gone, he's given us little notes as to where the pictures were taken. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to correlate all of that. But anyway, in answer to your question, Nick, I don't really know. I think he's probably, I don't know, what would you guesstimate, Mary Kay, about 80% complete or 90%?
Yeah, I was thinking, because he gave us photos every day, then he had to do something for the week, and he said he had like 2 more locations to do within the cemetery when he left. So I would say 80 to 90%.
Now he says he wants to do pedagogy as well. There's a cemetery over in pedagogy. And he is offered to do Lentini, so that's a whole nother order of magnitude to do Lentini.
So we're thinking maybe Carlentini holds 6,500, maybe something
I
around there.
heard somebody say 10,000 at one point, but I don't know where they get these numbers.
Right.
One of the things he did encounter was there are certain ones that are in what are called capellas, which are chapels, and you go inside and there's it's kind of like, some of them are like being in a wall, only it's inside of a building, but some of those buildings are locked and he was unable to get inside.
Well,
So how many of those is hard to say. When
Lentini
you
would
look-
be bigger too, right?
It's probably about twice as big.
Right.
Mhm.
And you're all caught up on the photographs that he sent, like, except for
Well,
like,
yeah, like Mary Kay said, he took a little break because he did some traveling. And we were able to upload everything, but we so this is where we set right now. This is the 5,000. But see where it says I have 518 photos to transcribe? Those are ones that I've uploaded that haven't been transcribed yet.
Nick, if he does Lentini, I might offer to work on the Lentini ones.
Okay. That would be helpful. Thanks, Dean. Mary Kay was mentioning that you helped her on a few questions that she had about these.
yeah, I'd be
Carlentini
happy to
ones,
help too, Nick.
Oh, that's great, Nick. So anyway, let's go back to the Richeris for just a second. And so let's double check that Antonino is not in the cemetery. I don't think he is, but no, because these are in alpha order. This one, let's look at this one for a minute. Story Richieri. Oh, I was thinking this was a chapel. Basically, what this is a holy group, and these are really kind of, but like Mary Kay said with the one from Connecticut, you kind of got to be careful because you don't know exactly, you know. These all look like they probably died in Carlentini, but we haven't actually been putting the place where they died or the place where they were born because we're not entirely sure, because they could have actually been in the hospital in Catania and died there. So they would actually show up in the Catania death records, not in the Carlentini.
But they would be buried in Carlentini, though.
Well, I mean, they're obviously buried in Carlentini. But because, yeah, if they died in Catania and, you know, they were from Carlentini, they would be buried in Carlentini. So
I guess I'm letting people make that assumption if they're buried, like when I just put down the cemetery they're in, but I don't add anything extra. Right now, we're just putting on whatever's on the tombstone.
right.
And then I do translate. If it says fu somebody, I'll put son of or daughter of the dad or, but kind of just giving people the raw information and then they can figure out the records separately.
So 2 days ago, I had a batch of photos that I had uploaded on the 27th of November. And the FindAGrave community started volunteering to transcribe them for me, which was pretty cool. Because I had over 1,000 at that point, and now I'm down to 500. So that was pretty wonderful. But the hard part was some of the people didn't really understand how to transcribe an Italian stone. So I came up with these directions. And when I see they're making a mistake, and let me just read this to you. It says, "Thank you for transcribing. Please note, Italian stones usually show the surname first." So what we were seeing is, you know, the first name would be in the surname field and the last name would be in the first name field. So I had to go and correct a bunch of those that were done that way. And then the other thing to note is that the husband's name often appears as well as the father's name on these stones. So they get confused by that too. Like the first name of the father is often given with the prefix FU, which means deceased, or DI, which means living. And it just gives the first name of the father. So I think there was one in the recent list of memorials. Let me see if I can pull that up. So this is kind of a fun thing. Click on recent memorials and you can see everything that was done. So an example of somebody that's got it all screwed up. So it should say Philadelphia Emanuele, and then Fu Alfio should be in the
Transcription.
it should be in the transcription field in the name field. So what I have to do then is go through and edit. So here's how so first I take the Fu Alfio out and I put it down here in the inscription field. And then I put Emanuele into the last name field. And I put Philadelphia into the first name field where it belongs.
Can
Okay,
anyone do
so-
that?
Excuse me?
Can anyone do
No,
that?
only the memorial manager can do
Oh.
that. But, you know, I could transfer a block of memorials to you if that was something that you were interested in doing. It really hasn't taken that long. You know, it was like a day or two maybe that I had to do that. So the other thing you can say, you can put it in English. You can just say Emanuele, no. Philadelphia Emanuele was born 10 Jan 1920 and died 22 December 1975. He was the son of Alfio. I mean, that's kind of, you know, going the extra mile to do that, but I think Mary Kay, you were saying that you put like in parentheses, son of Alfio
Yes.
here by the.
And then if I am curious about anything else they have, I will take it over and translate it. Most of
Mhm.
that's kind of like standard language, like he was, left behind a grieving family. But I always put in the food just so people can connect the
Yeah,
dots.
because that has genealogical value and we want to know that. Okay, so some of these have little plot numbers up here. And usually what I'll do is I'll just stick them right here when I'm editing. And lately I just been putting the number. I mean, really, in order to make any sense of that, you need to know what area of the cemetery that number relates to. We don't know that yet, but at least we know the number. So now he's got it corrected.
Hey, Nick.
Yeah.
Is there a book or a record that's attached to the cemetery that would tell us plot numbers or any more information about the deceased?
I actually do have a book, which I'll show you what it looks like. It's for the period, well, actually I have several, but so let me see if I can, cemetery registers, okay, there it is. Okay, so let me share that image with you. Share screen. Okay, so this is what it looks like.
Oh,
Can
wow.
you guys see that? For some reason I can't seem to move it around. Oh, there we go. All right, so the first column says numero de ordine generale, which that's just the general ordinal number, or the number in which they were entered. They're just in chronological order. And then it says cognome, which is surname, nome, which is given name, and paternita, which is parents of the deceased. Defunto is deceased. So in this example here, the first person we're looking at is Concetta Reti Fu Chirino e Fu Marchese Alfia. So it gives the parents' names. And then it gives their stato civile, which is their marital status, basically.
Meritate.
And so meritata is means that she was married. And then eta is age in years. So she was 80 years old. And then it says months for minors less than a year. Patria is the place that they are born ostensibly, but I have seen people that show from Carlentini that are actually from elsewhere. So
okay,
I haven't found that particularly reliable.
Can you send me these? Let me ask you this, Nick. Can you send me these pages? Because I read Italian. I would be willing to cross-reference these with the FindAGrave.
Oh, that'd be great. What I'm going to do is I'm going to upload them to a Google Drive, and then I'll share the link with everybody.
Okay.
So they can all check it out.
In general, what years do you have for those, Nick?
This I don't know if you can see this in the upper left. It says
Yeah, I see that.
adulti 1923 to 1955. So this is a register book that was for that period, 1923 to 1955.
So
And
what do you
then
have? What do you have on your webpage? Puzzles.
I have some earlier ones on the webpage.
Okay.
But
All right.
this is so much more extensive than those collections. I think I have from like 1900 to 1922 on ancestor puzzles. So you might want to go ahead and check that out.
Is 1955 the latest?
1955 is the latest that we have. And this was Eleanora. She just went into the cemetery office and started taking pictures of the register, and she just did the whole book. So
This isn't on
So this is-
Ancestry?
no, it's not on Ancestry. It's on my computer right at the moment. So Adulti 1923 to 1955 is the name of the book. And then B means that these are B surnames, and they begin with the year 1927. So you see the first date of sepelemento is the date of burial. So this is sort of a replacement for death date, but not exactly. Obviously, they don't bury them on the same day they died. But for those stones that are somewhat questionable, you can look them up in here and see if they're in this register. The other thing that I found is that these little notes and observations about where they're buried. Like this first one, it's telling you the exact area of the cemetery where they were buried. Reparto is department, or it's just sort of an area of the cemetery. So it's in Reparto 2, was where she was originally buried. And then Della Fila, so it's Reparto, Fila, and Fossa. Fossa, Fossa. So I don't understand all of this. I'd like to learn about that a little bit more. And then you get over like this little note here. It says Sumata. It should be actually Esumata, Esumata, which means exhumed.
Ah,
And they were moved to Nicia, Niccia, numero No period 694. And I guess that's like transferred or something. Nella into the yeah, I don't know what this all is. Di sua proprietà.
proprietà.
Il 11 or 11 May 19, I think that's a 1967. So they get moved and exhumed. And this one here says it was exhumed and moved to Nicia, whatever number that is.
Yeah.
Separate cemetery or separate area of the cemetery?
It's a separate cemetery. So no, I meant a separate area of the cemetery. I'm not sure what I said at this point. But anyway, so this is what the registers look like. And
Yeah, I
you
think
can
once
see
we
that
can
here
sort
also.
out, once we can sort out those plot numbers, I think that we can find some of those names that might be obscured in the photographs, and we can fix those
Yeah,
because we can match them with the plot number.
yeah, and I'm finding that some of them actually do match up, especially
Okay.
in Reparto B. It seems like Reparto B has, the people are still there.
Mhm.
in many cases. But notice down here that this one is Reparto C. So I don't know where Reparto C and Reparto B are. I would really like to know that.
Yeah, if we had a map of the cemetery, that would be great.
Yeah, I know Santino has been talking about a map, and I have a cousin who's an architect. His name is Salvatore Saravalli that works there in Carlentini. And that was one of the projects that we were thinking about, was a map, but we'll see. So share. So how many people went to sleep or went away while I did that?
Well, I think it's a good opportunity if you want, I mean, it's the only place you're gonna find photos of your, extended family. So if you give us a few more days or weeks, and then you can really add to your tree. I found a few of like my grandfather's cousins, and I've been trying to add them in just to see the family resemblance.
Yeah, I just mentioned Salvatore Saravalli. His family's kind of interesting. Let me just show that real quick. Who am I looking at? Oh, Connie Martell, welcome. I see an unfamiliar face. Welcome, welcome. So where are you at, Connie?
I'm in Denver, Colorado. That's why I'm an hour late joining.
Uh-oh. Sorry.
Next time I will be on time.
Yeah, this is a marathon instead of a sprint. That's why we come back every week for more training for our marathon. So Connie, you've been posting some beautiful pictures.
Well, I just love the wedding photos. So whenever I find one online or even on Ancestry, I try to figure out who some of them are at least, and then post it. And it's fun to look at Ancestry and kind of guess who the people are in the photo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that requires some detective work. I've written a blog post about a wedding photo that my grandfather is in the photo, and researching all the people that are at that wedding.
Mm-hmm. And they're just beautiful photos. I just love the dresses and the shoes. And you can tell the time period too. Like you can tell the difference between the 1810s, I mean 1900s, 1910s, and the 1920s and the 1930s. You can really tell the difference of the gowns and the style of clothing that they wear.
Mm-hmm. So what is your percentage Italian, and what are some of your Italian surnames?
My mother is 100% Sicilian.
Mm-hmm.
From Tripulato, Sesto, Amato, Castro, Battaglia, Nigro, mostly Nigro. We're experts on Nigros because we have we have a lot of photos and information.
Well, that's wonderful and amazing. There's lots of Nigros in this group.
And Marchese, or you said Marchese, Marchese. Battaglia.
Yeah, actually, I think the Italian would be Marchese.
Marchese. And Battaglia, yes.
It's, potato.
Everybody married someone, so we have all the names.
If I could interject here, Connie, the book that I wrote, my mother, what she'd prepared before the book I wrote, is she took all the pictures from her mother, be my grandmother, through all her sisters as they got married. And that's one thing she noted, that she wanted to see the difference in the gowns through the ages as each of the sisters got married, which that shows up in my book.
So, so you're in Denver, Colorado, and how long have you been in Denver, Connie?
Pretty much grew up here. My father went to Omaha to Creighton for pharmacy school and met my mom there. She was a nurse. And they met at Creighton and then moved to Denver. But yeah, all of our relatives mostly stayed in Omaha. Some of
Connie, what's your maiden name, Connie?
McKay, but my mother's is Tribulato.
Okay.
Yes.
You're also related to the Salernos.
Oh, yes.
But did they move to Denver right away, or did they live in Omaha for a while?
Oh, about a year they lived in Omaha and then
Oh.
moved. But yes. So 100% Sicilian. And oh, I have a story to share. Back in 1987, I went on a little search to find my roots, and I went to Carlentini and found my grandmother's 3 nieces. And they are, a lot of you know Carmelita de la Guardia.
Yes.
They were her aunts.
And
So
what were their surnames?
they were the Troya family, the Troyans. Yeah. So I found my grandmother's nieces, her oldest sister's daughters in
Carmelita's maiden
Carlentini.
name is Toya.
Yeah, and they welcomed me, and I was pretty young back then, probably in my late 20s, early 30s, and it was like going home. It was so wonderful. Everybody was hugging me, and I just remember all the good food, and there was a little cottage by the ocean or by the sea that we went to. And it was like reuniting with family. It was just wonderful. In Carlentini and the little boathouse by the shore.
So who were the Tribulatos? What was like your grandfather, your grandmother's name?
We just found them last week. Luciano Tribulato. Well, my grandfather was Frank Tribulato. They were all shoemakers. A lot of the Tribulatos, Garatos, Inseras, they were the shoemakers. And the Tribulato family came from Sesto. Tribulato and Sesto, and they're pretty hard for me to find. So this has really been helpful. I found them last week. And pictures of my mother's grandfather that she's never seen. And my mother's like 88 right now. And this is the first time she's ever seen a picture of her grandfather.
So what year was he born in?
Frank Tribulato?
Yeah.
Probably 1890.
All right. Well, I got him. And I got a lot of ancestors before that. Grazia Negro?
Yeah, that's my grandparent. That's my grandma.
Yeah. Go figure that one.
Yeah.
But I go back, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 generations before those guys.
Is that in your tree, Jim?
It is in my tree, and I'm not related to any of them by blood. least
Oh,
not,
can we-
not so far.
Can we see the tree?
Sure,
I'll
That would
show
help
it.
her out.
Yeah, let me bring it up here.
sure. Yeah, I think, I don't know how far back we go, but it's in part, some of them are like in the 1700s.
So do you have him under, do you have
His
Frank
name-
Tribulato or Francesco?
Francisco Tribulato.
And he's the one born in 1890?
That is 100% correct.
And
If you flip them the other way around, you'll see like a boatload of people.
Yeah, Virginia down here is my mother. Still living.
oh. So, okay, so Francesco and Grazia. And which one is, oh, there's Mikhail here.
Yeah,
Ralph and Virginia.
yeah.
So those are your
the
parents.
youngest.
And
Still
I think
living.
Jim must have just added you in there.
Yes, that's me.
Yeah, is that, were you the one who just contacted me not too long ago?
Yes.
Yeah, I got your email yet. Let's see.
So you have, let me just change it to your family tree and go to this here. Okay, so there's Francesco and Grazia are the parents of your mom. So these are your grandparents, and these are your greats. You've got Tribulato, Sesto, Nigro, Battaglia. Jim's even got a little newspaper
Yeah,
article there.
I don't know what that is. I don't know.
Well,
I just saved something there. I think it's somebody at the death announcement or something.
See what it is.
He was a
Joseph
that.
Nigro Obit.
He lived to 98 years old.
San Jose, huh?
Yes.
I know the way to San Jose.
Where
I
did
used
that
to have a work territory that included San Jose. So I would go there on business for a amount.
I
Well,
thought
I've
you were
had it-
talking about the song.
I've had that out there for quite a while, 2019. I must have had a subscription somewhere.
I was not impressed with her. Yeah.
Susan, we can hear what you're saying. You might want, oh, there we go.
But yeah, it's like you look at these obituaries and you find everybody, including cousins and aunts and uncles and everybody else inside.
Okay, so this may be the family that you visited then.
Yes,
Nina Troia of Italy.
Carmena Troia, yes, that's
Yeah,
who I visited.
wow. And this was, well, you didn't date this one, Jim. We're
You know
supposed to when this
something?
happened.
That was probably before I dated stuff.
Yeah,
2019. That was before Zoom meetings.
It was 1940. Well, he died in 1948, and that's his obituary. So
well, that would make sense.
Yes.
1948 obituary of Giuseppe Nigro. Okay, so I think I'm going to draw things to a close here a little early. We've been doing, like I say, a 2-hour marathon, but I have some other things I need to do today. So I am going to excuse myself. It's
Nick and Mary, is it okay if I start downloading today's pictures?
okay with me. Is that okay with you, Mary?
All right, I'll start on today's then. Because I'm done. I have nothing left to do, so I can start them.
Cool. Thank you so much, Monica and Mary Kay, for doing the lion's share of the work here. I'm just uploading them, and then I'm lazy. I let the community transcribe them.
Nick, do you have to have a certain credential to transcribe? Because I don't see, like when I go to transcribe, there's no more left. Is there certain people have that privilege?
No, I mean, if you
Okay.
go to the, well, let me just show you. It's easier to show than to try to explain. Share. If you go to the main page of FindAGrave and contribute, transcribe photos. So for me, it's just going to default to the ones that I've uploaded.
I think it's
don't-
up to you first, because I've gotten some of Nick's, and I just pressed that one on the top bar next to contribute over to the right. There's the little edit sign with 99 plus. I've clicked on that.
This one here.
Yeah, I click on that and mine will show up first, and then when I'm done, then I started getting the others.
Oh, mine doesn't say, mine says there's nothing to contribute and I should upload more photos, so.
Well, that 500 and some of his may not have passed the 7-day mark yet.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
I got a question about Eleanora's itinerary. What is it?
Yeah. Before we get off of this, so my count, I mean, today is the 6th, right?
Yes.
And this was uploaded on the 29th. So that's 7 days. But I'm not sure when the clock starts ticking on this, as far as when others get access. Because I'm still getting the message 518 photos to transcribe. Maybe later today. Okay, so Eleanora's itinerary. Let's stop my share. And does anybody know where she's at and what she's doing?
I think she's a little more free form this time. I
Yeah,
don't think she has a set schedule.
I don't think she has a schedule other than the gala.
And Mary Kay's get together next week.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
right.
on Friday morning, Sherry, Kanger, Sarita Room and I are taking Eleanora and Juicy to the 3 girls' schools in Omaha, the 3 high schools for tours.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say she's probably got a pretty full agenda, but you know, call her.
Sure
Send
will.
her a text message.
Yeah. What is going on, and are there going to be like last summer where there was a lunch or two where we all kind of got together.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting together at Mary Kay's. Is that next Tuesday?
Yes.
And the time on that again?
Noon.
All right. Okay. And I think I was going to pick up Eleanora unless she had other plans, but I will confirm that with her.
Okay.
And then Mary Ann Sopo is not on here today. And I should probably contact her because she's going to give Eleanor some kind of a little tour around town. And I think, you know me, Mary Kay, I take the roads less traveled to get from my house out to West Omaha. So we'll probably go through a couple of neighborhoods on the way out for Juicy and for Eleanora to see some of the things that are around and where people, where them Sicilians ended up down here in this end of town, between here and there.
Yeah.
So
I always think Dodge Street's a nice, because you start off at the river and then you go to Dundee. It kind of shows how the city of Omaha progressed. So
right.
If you want
right.
to get here, Jim, that's fine.
No, it's yeah.
When you message Eleanora, do it on our genealogy chat so that we can all see what her agenda is.
Is that like
He's
Facebook?
he's not on Facebook, so.
I'm not
Oh.
on Facebook, and please don't ask me to add myself to it because
No.
because I was in network security for a long time, and social media, there are just too many bad things that come with it. So
I just thought it'd be easier so that we could all see it is all.
yes, I understand. But I'll email her, and I'll have to figure out, Nick's.
If you want to copy me on any of that, I can forward it to the group.
That's a good idea.
Thank you. Okie dokie.
All I know is that she's staying at Charlie and Mary Vendetti's, I think, is what I was told.
Yeah, Charlie Vendetta.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So go knock on the door, but she won't be there.
That's for sure. And she's
She won't be
coming
here
in.
till Thursday.
Well, what time of day is she actually coming in?
That I
You
don't
know.
know.
Okay.
Does
Well,
anybody
I will.
know?
I will try to get that information from her. So we'll all kind of know where she's at and where she's going to be. What her plans are for the week. Or
Okay.
two.
Will Juicy be at Sons of Italy tomorrow, Chris? Do you know?
Is she already in town?
What's tomorrow?
Yes, yeah, she's here.
What's tomorrow?
Tomorrow's Wednesday.
Or not tomorrow, I mean Thursday, I'm
Thursday.
sorry.
That I don't know.
Wow.
Okay.
If she's going to be around, then I'll probably end up down there at Sons of Italy.
Probably
I'll see
wouldn't
you,
hurt to
Jim.
go down there anyway. Be a good week
It's
to
never a
hang out.
bad decision.
I know that.
I'd be willing to bet that she would be down there Friday. Well, I guess not. Friday's the gala, isn't it?
Well, I think she's staying with Sarah, so
Right.
I'm thinking they should probably be there on Thursday, but I don't know for sure.
I don't know if Sarah's still working or if she took vacation this week.
Oh, yeah.
I hope she did.
I did not get to ask her that when I saw her Friday night. Or Saturday, I guess it was when I saw her.
Well, Connie, I want to thank you for coming to your first meeting, and you can see we're down to the diehards here. This is the real core of the group.
Wonderful. I'm so excited. But once you get started, it's hard to stop. You just
Yes,
want to
it
keep
is.
researching, and it's so exciting to find the photos. Nice meeting all of you.
Well, yeah,
Well,
come back
same
and see
here.
us, and send me a note if you want us to address something in particular, or if you want to make a presentation. We have an open agenda.
Okay.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Ciao.
Tutti.